Good morning, you guys, and a happy Tuesday morning to you. All right, I know you told me not to apologize for the long video, but I am because this is another really long video. There's a lot of royal family stuff. We're going to start with that and work our way down. But the main part of this video is the fact that, don't forget, Harry and Meghan blamed their leaving the UK on the leaking and planting of the royal family and the racist UK media. So what are they going to blame what's going on now on? Yeah, let's just jump in and cover it, shall we? Let's go. We're going to start with a poem sent to me by one of my subscribers called The Ginger-Haired Prince. The ginger-haired prince was the favorite of all, till he married a schemer and had a great fall. He wanted a mommy, she wanted a title. He was a brat, she was bone idle. They weren't safe in his country, flew to a new land on a private jet, titles clutched in hand. They got caught out as grifters. Now what can they do? I hope with love Meghan is their Waterloo. I love that. Thank you so much for the poem. All right, let's jump into our news for today. Let's go. Let's start right off with Prince William. He sent a congratulations letter to the HMS Audacious Valkyries. This is the Royal Navy's first all-female crew. They completed the world's toughest row across the Atlantic. How fabulous is that? They did it in 46 days, 12 hours, 26 minutes. It was 3,000 miles from the Canary Islands to Antigua. Prince William rode with them back in 2023. Congratulations to the girls. Well done. All right, let's move on. Princess Anne is next. Now, we know that she is patron of the Scottish Rugby Union, and she stepped out onto the pitch at Murrayfield Stadium because Scotland was going against Italy in the Six Nations match. And so she went out and she met those that were competing for the cup. And now I'm going to try to pronounce the name of this cup, the Kutita. I doubt that that's correct, but there you go. The cup is awarded to the winner of the annual Six Nations match. So Anne was then introduced to the Scottish Rugby Union team and also the Italian team before they had the national anthems for both. Now, I'm not sure what the weather is there at this time, but I'm going to say it's cold because she was really bundled up with the scarf and the thick coat and, the whole thing. So anyway, she's beaming, and of course we know now it appears that the Scottish team are the ones that won the cup. She handed it over. They held it up. Good for them. All right, let's move on. All right, I just wanted to throw this in here. You guys know how much I love Mike Tindall and son-in-law. He and Zara live at a home on Aston Farm, which is on the estate of Gatecombe Park, where Anne lives with her husband. Anyway, you never see the inside of their house, but apparently there was some sort of a Zoom call, and Mike let it be shown a room that they're calling the Zen Room. Love it. All right, let's move on. Prince Edward, he arrived in Mumbai this past Sunday as part of a 3-day visit aimed at celebrating the long-standing ties between India and the UK. And that is what Buckingham Palace said in a statement. Edward was greeted by the British High Commissioner to India, Lindy Cameron, and said that Edward's visit was an important reminder of the vibrant and enduring links between India and the UK. Now, one of the big things Edward did while he was there was he attended the 5th and final T20 international cricket match, and that did take place also on Sunday, the day he arrived. Edward was seen talking to the captains of the different teams. He talked with a lot of the players. Remember, he's also there to promote the Duke of Edinburgh International Award. Now, they gave a little bit more information, which I think is really cool. Since the award started in 1962, it has helped more than 150,000 students from 325 schools and educational institutions in India alone. Amazing. The award in India is called the International Award for Young People, IAYP. And that is how it's delivered there. It's a non-formal education and learning framework supporting young people to help them find their purpose, place, and passion in the world. I love the way this award is changed around for each country as each country uses it the way it's needed. Fabulous. Now, it's being reported also that Edward went to dinner with a Indian billionaire, and that person is also a real estate tycoon. There were a lot of high bigwigs there. Apparently, it was a conversation with a lot of leaders. I'm sure it was promotional. All right, let's move on. Princess Catherine, I talked to you the other day about an outing that she had, but apparently I missed the best part. Several of you said you missed it. Apparently what was happening was as the motorcade was leaving, some little girl yelled out, "Hello, princess." So what did Catherine do? She made the entire motorcade. I'm sorry. It's so Catherine. That is so Catherine. She made the entire motorcade stop. She goes running up the hill. She goes, "I heard you say hello from all the way back there, and I wanted to come and see you." I mean, that's so typical Catherine. I just love that. It's just instinctual. You can tell that she's just really good with children. Always has been. I mean, the fact that she decided to stop the car and get out to personally greet somebody it's just so wonderful. It shows she has a lot of class. You know what I mean? I just absolutely love it. All right, let's move on. All right. I just want to point out something else. The BAFTAs. They are not yet saying that Catherine is going to the BAFTAs, not because of her gradual return to work, but because this red carpet affair falls during half term. And when Catherine says that her role as mom is the most important, this is a woman who actually talks the talk and walks the walk. So she may not go to the BAFTAs because she's with her kids. All right, let's move on. Next up, we have King Charles and Queen Camilla. They were seen going to and returning from church. Apparently, while it was very cold, it was at least sunny. They were seen, waving at everybody. They looked very happy. I love the fact that Charles and Camilla go to church on Sunday, whether they think somebody's going to be there to watch them or not. You know what I'm saying? Because he is the head of the church. Sticking with King Charles, we're all aware of what happened this past Wednesday. A commercial flight that was traveling from Wichita, Kansas, and was just about to land in Washington collided with a military helicopter and crashed into the Potomac River. There were 60 passengers on the plane, 4 crew members, and 3 people on the helicopter, and all 67 people perished in the accident. The king sent a fabulous letter of condolence, but did not forget to pay tribute to the emergency responders who also were there on site. We still don't know what exactly happened. There's been a lot of speculation online. The helicopter was too high. There weren't enough air traffic controllers, blah, blah, blah. And I will not speculate here. My condolences to everyone. Let's move on. All right, let's move on to Prince Andrew. Apparently there is a pub. It's a Victorian pub in central London. It's the Duke of York, and there was a sign on the front of the pub with a picture of Prince Andrew, and they decided to take the sign down that had his picture on it. For those who are wondering, the couple who runs the pub are retiring after 20 years, and it's the new owners who don't want the sign with Andrew's face on it. So there you go. You know what I don't understand? People are for this, okay? Yes, take it down. But yet you have the Prince Harry pub that has not been rebranded, and Prince Harry is an absolute traitor to king, country, military. Why don't you take that down? Take it down. All right, let's move on to the Harry and Meghan stuff. These puff pieces are coming out. Meghan and Harry are praised for driving 2 hours towards the fire to help amid the inferno. Remember, they went and cleared the area and did a photo walk through ashes with the mayor and, handed out food and, got their pictures. Yeah. But then articles like this are coming out saying that Meghan spent a small fortune on wardrobe for this Netflix series. Remember, the royal family made her wear beige and muted tones, beige and gray and white and black, so that she wouldn't stand out. And yet that seems to be the only colors that she's wearing. Is she blowing money on clothing? Oh, I'm absolutely sure that she is. Is it going to help? No. Let's move on now. Talking about clubs like we were talking about earlier, there's apparently a nightclub in London where William and Harry used to go all the time, and it closed down. And it's now set to reopen in the next few months. The owner has the motto, everyone is welcome. However, it's a co-owner said, and I'm quoting, everyone is welcome except Meghan. I don't like her. Oh my God. He said, listen, William and Catherine used to go there, and they went on one of their first dates there. And he said it's always been a home away from home for the royals. It's always been a safe space for them. It closed in 2016, but it reopened in 2023. So listen, he's like, I don't want her here. Well, there you go. It's being reported that this bar, or whatever you want to call it, is literally a stone's throw from Eugenie and Jack's home. Now, what I want to talk about really quickly is the fact that the tide seems to be turning. Nobody would ever have reported before that Meghan was unwelcome. She'd call them a racist, but there seems to be a shift. And it's located on both sides of the pond. Both sides are now not afraid to speak out. What's going on now is you have a lot of U.S. magazines that no longer have anything nice to say about Harry and Meghan. Remember, it was the British media, and their declining popularity was all because of the tabloid and the palace leaking and planting, but now the U.S. magazines seem to have caught up. The British people have been vindicated, is basically what it comes out. Because remember, every bad story that came out was the palace's fault and the UK media's fault because they were racist and they hated Meghan Markle. So let's look at these articles. Let's go. So we're going to start with the cut, which was written by Alison Davis, who, by the way, after the article came out, she suddenly became unemployed. We saw the tweets. You have to wonder if Meghan complained, because one of the things Meghan did, and this woman, Miss Davis, put it in the article, I'm quoting, at one point in our conversation, instead of answering a question, she will suggest how I might transcribe the noises she's making. She's making these guttural sounds, and I can't quite articulate what it is she's feeling in that moment because she has no words for it. She's just moaning. It was during this interview that Harry shows up and says, I didn't see you yesterday. And we found out about these pictures. And Harry goes, you're a model. And she goes, no, I'm a mom. And he goes, you can be both. Of course, we saw the pictures. Here's the top of something Diana was wearing, but you see the dress here. And of course, one of the pictures clearly showed that Diana was being cosplayed once again by, Meghan Markle. And of course, this led to what happened with the South Park, where she got, memed. So people started speaking out then in defense of Alison Davis. And I think this was the starting point because everybody remembers what happened to Piers Morgan. He said he didn't believe Meghan's story, and he had every right to say that. But she called the head of whatever area that was and had him terminated. People are sick of her throwing her weight around. I think this was the beginning of the end, was what she did to Alison Davis. So a few months later, after their Netflix docuseries was released, Variety did another article where they said, and I'm quoting, there can only be so many revelations left to share with the public now that the couple have exiled themselves away from the factious coexistence with the monarchy. Given that they've beaten this horse to death, perhaps this one-trick pony is due for the glue factory. Oh my God. They also said, their game plan has always been, come for the sob story, stay for the high-minded uplift. But that's a shaky strategy for keeping an audience around that probably doesn't care about anything either of them has to say that isn't royal gossip. Ouch. Now, just a few weeks later, Jack Royston, sugar number 2, right behind Obed Scobie, wrote an article about the more Prince Harry and Meghan Markle say, the less America likes them. And they began regular polling, Newsweek did, of the British monarchy, and it come to find out their popularity was just dropping. Jack Royston writes that the crash was fueled in part by what he said about the Elizabeth Arden cream and how his mother used to use it and he put it on his frozen Todger. Yeah, Now, the next thing that happened was really big. The Hollywood Reporter came out why Hollywood keeps quitting on Harry and Meghan. This was a massive scandal because this is where it came out that Meghan can't keep staff because she belittles people. She doesn't take advice. They're poor decision makers. They change their mind frequently. This is where they said Meghan marches around like a dictator in high heels, fuming and barking orders, and reduces grown men to tears. This is what she'd been accused of at Kensington Palace, and that Harry wrote about in The Spare. Next up, another Vanity Fair article came out. Inside Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's big business ambitions 5 years after their exit. And this is the article that said that Meghan was compared to a mean teenager girl. They talked about staff at Gimlet and Spotify needing therapy or having to quit after working with her. Multiple sources said that a colleague with ties to Archetype took a leave of absence after only working on 3 episodes and then left Gimlet altogether. And others described taking extended breaks from work to escape scrutiny. They left their jobs or they underwent long-term therapy after working with her. One staff member actually said, quote, talking behind your back and gnawing at your sense of self. Well, doesn't that sound familiar? That's basically, again, what was said in Kensington Palace. The problem is, this is the narrative they put forward as to why they left the monarchy. Remember? Harry said, my father, my brother, Kate, they were really welcoming, but it changed after the Australian tour. They saw how great she was. Get it? The narrative that the relationship between the monarchy and the Sussexes deteriorated because of jealousy. However, this was completely thrown out because now we know Meghan was accused of bullying, and now we know that there are possible alternative explanations for the rift that formed. I want you to remember that where there's smoke, there's fire. And articles came out and stories came out of the Queen pulling Meghan aside saying, we don't talk to people that way. Of Catherine taking Meghan aside saying, you don't talk to my staff like that. There were things in The Spare about the staff being thrown over their desks. We all heard about the bullying report. Now, everybody wants that bullying report released, but I don't think it's not being released to protect Meghan. I think it's not being released to protect the palace because I believe she was being a bully and the staff was treated badly in an attempt to keep it under wraps. That's why it's not being released. Netflix will not speak out about them at this time because, after all, Netflix still has a contract with them. But let's not forget Bill Simmons, who not only was aware that they literally produced nothing and what they produced didn't do well, but I'm sure he was aware of what was going on behind the scenes with all the bullying as well. He just couldn't speak about it. Now, I want you guys to remember that Vanity Fair used to be Harry and Meghan's biggest cheerleader from the inception, where Meghan was actually upset about this particular one because they didn't talk about one of her stories because they couldn't prove it. They now have turned on them with multiple articles. This last article was, was the big one. As the title pointed out, American Hustle, the coverage of this article was absolutely devastating. It was an 8,000-word piece by writer Anna Peel. It had all kinds of allegations ranging from they annoyed the neighbors to, more claims that Meghan is a bully and the possible post-divorce book deal, which, might be on the horizon. This article was researched over multiple months. They spoke with multiple people. They dotted their I's. They crossed their T's, just like Tom Bauer and Valentine Lowe did. And Harry and Meghan, of course, declined to cooperate with the piece and won't comment. Now, of course, they're talking about suing. Of course they are, but of course they won't, because you can't sue when something is true. All of Meghan's lies are coming home to roost. Everything from they made me wear beige, which turned out to not be true. I mean, just all kinds of stuff that was said. But I think the thing that really got me was where she dressed like Diana and she said the palace made her do it. Every single picture that is now going across your screen is her dressing like Diana after they left the royal family. So you can't blame that one on the palace either. This constant cold play of her playing like she's Princess Diana 2.0 is old. But once again, we've proven that she lied. The palace did not make her do it. She's tried to adapt all of Diana's mannerisms, facial expressions. We heard how she was practicing in the mirror before the Oprah show. She had to be sure to get everything exactly perfectly right. We're over it. We're all over it. Every single person is over it. And I personally believe that 2025 is not going to be her year. All right, you guys, you know what I want. Hit the like and the subscribe button and the bell. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up to help me with my algorithm. Then go down into the description box after you leave those fabulous comments, and you'll find the link to my Twitter, my Gettr, my Rumble, my email, my Amazon wish list, and my physical address. For those of you who've donated to my coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.